Good evening, everybody. Right, any issues? No, we will have fast recap, whatever we had discussed yesterday, and then we will proceed further. We had seen yesterday, we started with Jainism, and we have found that their philosophy is realistic and relativistic pluralism. This is Jainas' philosophy. Now we will make a threadbare analysis of this line, realistic and relativistic pluralism. That is clearly seen that reality is plural. It's a manifolded. This philosophy is known as anekantvad, that a thing has infinite characters, infinite realities, because atoms are many, infinite, and each atom is separately and individually real. So reality is infinite in numbers, and each atom has infinite characters. So in terms of characters as well as in terms of realities, it is anekantvad. These infinite characters were of broadly two types. These are gunas and paryas, that is attributes and moods. However, this philosophy is also relativistic. Means this is known as syadvad, that is theory of relativity of knowledge. Theory of relativity of knowledge. What does it mean, relativity? Don't get confused by the word relativity. Means from my point of view, I know this, but this thing has something different meaning, some different characters from different point of view. So my knowledge is relative. Relative means relative to others. Like for example, when this blind says that elephant is like pillar, this is relative. From my point of view it is there. But this has some more dimensions. So elephant is like wall also. Elephant is like rope also. In that way, we have these different point of views. That means that out of infinite characters, ordinary being like us, we all are ordinary beings. Why? Because we are afflicted with ignorance. Which ignorance? Beginningless. It is started from what time? We don't know. But right now I am afflicted with ignorance. Hence I am common, ordinary being. And this ordinary being can know only few characters out of this. And this is how we have relativity of knowledge. That simply means what syadvad says. It simply says that all our knowledge is finite, limited, relative, conditional, partial. All our knowledge is partial. This is syadvad. So realistic and relativistic pluralism. This represents metaphysical aspect of Jainas philosophy, and this represents epistemological and logical side of Jainas philosophy. It's a logical side. Why logical? A thing has infinite characters. If I say this, that this pen has got infinite characters, then obviously you will be asking, sir, do we know all the characters? So logically we have reached to that point now. From infinite characters, I have to tell that out of these infinite characters, either I know all the characters or I know few characters, but I can't be silent. It is very obvious question. Hence we say logical. Logical side of the art. Logical side of the art is Tyagva. This theory they explain with the help of one analogy, that is of elephant and blind. Isn't it? With this example, they explain Anekantvad, just as elephant has infinite characters, but we can know only few, just as these blind. So Anekantvad and Syadvad are not two different philosophies. There is no point in considering them as different. They are the two aspects of one system, that is Jaina system. True? So, this is Anekantvad and Syadvad. Another thing which we have moved and said that all our statements, since it is partial, it is necessary to specify. I need to say, look, my knowledge is partial. You need to tell. Hence, all my statements should be qualified by the word Sya. No issues if you use SYAT or you use Sya. It doesn't matter, right? I am used to, with this word, Sya. Because latest book and research book are using, so I am taking this word. Sya. Syat means relatively speaking. Relatively speaking. Yesterday we have taken one simple example of this pen. Relatively, this is pen. Relatively, this is nothing. Relatively, this is wooden stick. Relatively, this is XYZ. Relatively, this is weapon. Each of us is true, right from my point of view. Problem occurs when I consider my partial knowledge as absolute. Jana says, how can you afford to say anything absolutely in this world? Reality is too complex. And me is afflicted with ignorance. In spite of affliction with ignorance, if I claim that I have complete knowledge, don't you think this is contradiction? If anybody says that I am not afflicted with ignorance, forget it. I don't believe you. Fine, so then you don't belong to Jainas, then there is no point in hearing these people. Because we are not discussing any science or math. This is their view. If I agree, then I have to believe. If I don't agree, then forget it. If somebody says, what moksha, what nonsense, so then you belong to Charva. Isn't it? Again, to specify, our point is not to see who is right and who is wrong. We have to see what they are trying to say. And each philosopher, you will see, no matter to what level he is inconsistent, no matter it might seem to be absurd, nonsense, but still he has certain logic, justification. And if we put ourselves into his shoes, we will be appreciating his views. But since reality is too complex, we can't reach to any particular conclusion. That will be always a debatable issue. Hence we have so many thinkers, so many views, and so many schools worldwide. Since we are studying right now Jainas, we should follow our golden rule. And golden rule was that we are right now hardcore Jaina. Hardcore Jaina. Right? Then only we will be accepting the views. Then only we will be following, what the Tirthankaras are saying. And hence we will be understanding in one go. Clear? So, Syat is to be used. If we assert anything, we have seen that is Durniti. And once we use Syat, then we get seven-folded judgment, and that is Saptabhangine. That is simply known as Saptabhangine. That is 7 judgments, and this is where we have seen those 7 points of view. And we had categorically specified that don't get confused, syat, with it any probability or any doubt or somehow maybe. There is no room for skepticism, no place for skepticism. They are just emphasizing on the relative character of our knowledge, not a skeptic. In this sevenfold judgment, fourth statement was avyaktam, indescribable. Right? Again, they have tried to tell that there are many things in this world which we cannot answer in either yes or no. ना हम yes बोल सकते हैं, ना no बोल सकते हैं. कैसे यार? What are these situations? Either a thing is real or unreal. It just can't hang in between. But this is where philosophy enters, and they try to show another form of reality. If there are situations in our life where we become silent, I can't say. Right? Like for example, a slight deviation that is required here to explain this, and we will take up this aspect in later school more comprehensively. Look, somebody is going in the evening, right? And on the road, rope is lying. Evening, and rope is lying. Rope is lying in such a way that I perceive it as snake. Since it is evening, half light, half darkness. Fine. So, that half darkness will act as a ignorance. And I perceive rope as snake. I am perceiving rope as a snake. For me, right now, this is snake. Whatever will be my reaction, that will be with respect to snake only. I might run away. I might become standstill. I am, shivering with fear. I will try to kill it. Whatever reaction, reaction would be only with respect to snake. True? Now, see. Is it real? Is this phenomena real? You have to answer in yes or no. Is it real phenomena? Huh? You all are philosophers then, huh? So, is it real? No. Because ultimately who is real? Rope is real. Then is it unreal?
No.
Then why you are
because
scared? Then why you are trying to run away? Then why you are trying to kill it? I don't expect right answer. Is it unreal? Forget about this justification. You just put yourself into that. You are in that situation. The snake is in front of me. And now you are, is it unreal? Or I am shivering with, that fear. Kaap raha hu main? And you are saying, is it unreal? Oh, no, it is not unreal.
From my point of view, it is real.
Yes, I am asking from your point of view only.
It is real.
Huh?
It is real. From my point of view, it is real.
I am talking right now unreal. I will again
It
come
is
back
not
to
unreal.
that. Is it unreal? No.
No.
Is it real? Now I'll ask. Is it real?
No. It's real. Yes. Then from my point of view.
Ultimately, who is real?
No.
So it is neither real nor unreal. Just hold on. Just try to understand. This is a very usual phenomenon. I'll give you another example. No issues. Fine. This is known as illusion in fact, and which has been also described as indescribable. I can't describe it. Avyaktam. Because it is neither real nor unreal. Because I am afflicted with ignorance. And when ignorance goes away, when somebody throws a torch on that, then I will know that it is rope. But before that, but a snake is unreal. It is just a common phenomena. Have you seen mirage water? Yes. But if I am not aware of, that your scientific, that theory, total internal reflection. So I'll see water, but is there. But I am fighting with you. And you say, Arey, no, this is that, a total internal reflection and, this and that. And I say, what total internal reflection? I am seeing water. Are you getting? So this is neither real nor unreal. And that becomes something like indescribable. What point we are trying to emphasize is that reality is infinitely complex. We cannot say anything so absolutely because we people are afflicted with ignorance.
But sir, but reality is what we made out of it. Like something solid, but 99% of it is not solid. But in reality, we say it's solid. So everything which we say, which we have perceived as a concept, is not actually a concept. It's what we made out of it. In fact,
this is your point of view. This is your point of view. My point of view is different. But over and above, there must be some absolute, ultimate thing. No? It is.
No, sir, there is room for skepticism, not fear.
Okay, fine. Some room is there. No issue.
Then, sir, there is no room for skepticism.
But that is Syadvad, and this is another example. I am explaining Avyaktam, not Syad.
Then it is part of Jainism.
No. I am just trying to explain you indescribable. That is not part of Jainism. I am trying to explain only this aspect. Not Syad. Relatively, did I say that relatively? No. This aspect only. What this aspect is? Avyaktam, indescribable. You did not ask, but I am telling you. Okay, what are those things which are indescribable? Situations like those. We will deal that comprehensively in one of the schools. Right?
So in situations like these, we took two judgments. From my point of view and from the point of view of an observer who sees it a rope and then he can conclude anything.
Yes.
So there would be two statements or two judgments made.
Yeah.
One would be Syat Asti and one would be Syat Nasti with respect to the rope or with respect to the snake.
Fine.
But here you are saying that it is Syat Avyaktam.
Yeah.
So means...
So that will fall in the fourth statement.
No, whose point of view is it? Who is making the judgment?
No, it is me only. Point of that orientation, the point of view is changing.
No, how can you? You just reacted to a snake.
Yeah, but ultimately this is...
But ultimately you don't know.
Yeah, exactly, fine. Hence there is a possibility of indescribability. Because ultimate thing I am not knowing. This is how they are saying our knowledge is partial. Don't assert anything absolutely.
But I already mentioned Syat. So I can use Syat Asti for the snake. Can't I?
Fine, okay, no issues.
But then...
But I am not knowing about the rope, no. Once my just imagine if my ignorance is removed,
Okay.
then I will come to know rope as rope. But right now I am not aware. It is just like if you want to, okay, you are mixing up these two things. If you want to take Jainas, then I will give you that pot's example. Pot's color is changing. And now you are asking me, so what is the color of this pot? Isn't it? So earlier it was brown, then it become black, then it become red, then it's brownish, then yellowish. So it's changing. So which color should I say? Because it is continuously something like changing. Then I say, pata nahi yaar, indescribable. Because philosophical wisdom lies not always in saying yes or no. All answers, all questions cannot be answered in yes or no. There is third possibility also, where we need to say, where we have to say, indescribable. Are you getting? Like mirage water, like rope snake. These are illusion. I cannot say anything because I am afflicted with ignorance.
So he's talking about one point of view. We have to look up. We don't have to look at it from one point of view.
Other point of view, I don't know.
We have to study all point of views. Basically, we're looking at holistically, not from one point of view.
Which
So
is
this
it?
example, I think he's talking about one point of view.
Yeah, yes.
But we have to look at it holistically.
There are other point of views also, which I am not aware.
We shouldn't talk about one point of view only.
Isn't it? Which I don't know. Here we are saying example, hence you are knowing this is rope. Imagine you are into that situation and then you are fighting that this is a snake.
So for Jainas, in that way, Jainas, you don't know anything which is real at all?
No, they are realistic school. They are realistic, we have claimed, I mean this is wrong. They are realistic school, I am knowing things are real. I know that these real things have characters. Issue is only small, that I know only few things and few characters. But all these things are real, this school is realistic.
Sir, why are we trying to look at from two different time frames? Ultimately, it is not real. Presently, it is real.
Yes, this is how we are trapped into that. I can't help it. This is how we are trapped. This is how we are trapped now. I am scared of this thing. But I need to tell that ultimately, when you throw just torch on that, then your fear will go away. Then you will come to know rope as rope. So that ultimate point of view have to be told. And in that appropriate time we will see I am using this R as capital and U as capital. So it has some meaning. I don't want to get into the detail because it's a different concept. I just want to explain only this. Avyaktam, indescribable. We are sometimes in a situation where we are forced to say indescribable, like illusion, mithya, like for example mirage water. We see, but actually it is not there. Actually, isn't it? Rope is snake. We see a snake, but actually it is not there. But we are trapped into that because of ignorance. This is how we are trapped. And this is where all our knowledge is this way. In this situation, if I assert anything absolutely, of course that will be durni. We have also seen in Syadvad, that is justification. Then what is the justification of my knowledge being finite, partial? And to understand that, we have taken one very good example, that is of glass. If I don't clean this glass, then dust particles stick. Now today I will discuss it very comprehensively. What does it mean? So dust particles are sticking, and these dust particles are putting hindrances to me in attaining complete knowledge. That transparency is not there, it's reduced. In the same way, these karmic particles, what are those? I'll discuss. They stick to Jeev, and the Jeev fails in attaining complete knowledge, and hence my knowledge is partial. If you want to have complete knowledge, please remove it. Which when I remove, then I regain my true status. And as a true status was my pure. It's a perfect. It's a complete. See, pure, complete, perfect, pure. Just opposite ho gaya, sir? But right now I'm like. So this is what the justification is. This is Jainas' philosophy of Syadvad, Anekantvad and Saptabhangine. All these three philosophies are interlinked. Question comes on any one, you have to mention other two. If question is asked on Saptabhangine, so start with Saptabhangine, move to Anekantvad and then move to Syadvad. If question is asked on Syadvad, start with Syadvad, move to Saptabhangine and again move to Anekantvad. If question comes on Anekantvad, start with Anekantvad, move to Syadvad, Saptabhangine and then again show Anekantvad. Is that fine? This is how Jainas philosophy is. And this is very true, because initially in our basic concepts classes we have already discussed that we all are afflicted with ignorance. And if we are afflicted with ignorance, then our knowledge is partial. Not only Jaina, all other schools will be accepting this. When I am afflicted with ignorance, so my knowledge is obviously partial now. And hence I want to have complete, so that I can have moksha. Not only this, all schools will be saying. Yes.
That means as a Jain, we should not trust our senses because they only help us perceive things.
Why should not we not trust our senses?
Because, like in this case, I am seeing a rope and perceiving it as a snake.
Fine. So this is only one aspect, no?
That is illusion, no? Illusion is because what you are perceiving. But our
Okay.
senses are.
Okay. That's fine. That's illusion. But I am trusting my senses. That is illusion. That is error. But usually, whatever knowledge I have, I should be well aware that my knowledge is partial. I should not consider my knowledge, partial knowledge, as complete. As a Jaina, I need to understand that my knowledge is syad. Only this thing is to be remembered.
So in the initial class we said that every school has some ultimate reality, some ultimate goal. Here in Jainism we are splitting everything up and we are saying that everything has infinite dimensions.
Yes, hence, I'll extend that your statement. Hence, now you please tell me, is it a consistent school? It's a very conceptual, and if you remember those basic concepts, probably you can answer. Is it consistent school? Why? Because? Answer. Now let us see criticism. Let us move step by step. I hope this is clear. Right? Yeah.
So can you please explain again Syad Asti Nasti with another example besides the pot?
Why? What is the problem in pot?
So yesterday you told us that if we are talking about the pot being red and being there, then we use Syad Asti Nasti when we are saying that the pot is in the room but not red. Or the pot is red but not in the room. That is, we are considering two characteristics of the same from
Yes.
one point
Yes.
of view.
Yes. Then only it will be valid. Otherwise, statement will become contradictory. Now you see one by one. Issue is it consistent? Consistent system or criticism of Syadvad and Ekantvad. Some people, some philosophers criticize Jaina's theory as self-contradictory. It's a self-contradictory. Some thinkers say. Why self-contradictory? Because same thing has been described as Syat Asti Nasti. A thing is real and non-real. This is self-contradiction. How it is possible? Isn't it? Now you tell me, is it self-contradictory? No, because two different point of view. Hence, Jainas counter this and Jainas are right. This is not valid criticism. It is countered. Correct? Some thinkers say that this is theory of probability. This is theory of probability. Right? Now you tell me, is it theory of probability? No way. They are shouting again and again. Look, this is not probable. Rather, this is relativity of knowledge. Jainas categorically say that we are giving theory of relativity of knowledge. Don't get confused with the word syat. Syat does not mean probability. Somehow, it simply means relatively speaking. So this criticism is also not valid and countered by Jainas, and Jainas are right in that. Start. Two critics have come, that has been nullified by Jainas. Is that fine? Now, once we move further, then we say that they have said that all our knowledge is relative, partial, conditional. All other schools have also accepted that. Just now we have discussed that we are afflicted with ignorance. Hence all our knowledge is partial. All other schools, we will see just after this school, some different schools, they have all accepted. All our knowledge is partial, conditional, finite. But all these schools have discussed relative character of our knowledge with respect to ultimate, with respect to some absolute. With that respect, my knowledge is partial. But here, what happens if somebody talks anything about absolute? They call it as durniti. They have a strong biasness against absolutism. They just can't stand absolutism. They outrightly reject absolutism. There is no absolutism at all. Because the moment anybody talks about absolutism, they say that it pertains to durniti, bad judgment. All our knowledge is partial, relative, and relative. Getting my point? Other schools have also talked that, but other schools have accepted some absolute. Though it's a different story, some have accepted one, some have accepted two, some have accepted more than two. But finally they have accepted at least absolute. Isn't it? But in Jainas, we find that they outrightly reject absolutism. Absolutism does not exist in Jainism. However, when they talk of their philosophy, when they talk about their own philosophy, then they say that Anekantvad is the only philosophy. Right? What is this? It is the, once they talk their own philosophy, then they say that only Anekantvad can lead to the right knowledge, ultimate, Kevalya. Only Anekantvad is the true philosophy. This is nothing but admission of absolutism. This is nothing but half-hearted confession of absolutism. Half-hearted confession of absolutism. They make a distinction between Syadvad and once after liberation what we get? Kevalya, right? And we have what? Which Gyan? Kevalya Gyan. Don't you think this is a distinction between relative and absolute? Isn't it? So once they talk of their philosophy, then they talk in absolute terms. This is nothing but half-hearted confession and admission of absolutism. However, on the other hand, they absolutely and outrightly reject absolutism. Now you tell me, in the absence of absolute, do relative terms have meaning? Not at all, because it is the absolute that gives meaning to the relative terms. Your relativity will be hanging loose in the air if there is no absolute. My knowledge is relative, this is relative, syat, 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 syat. So obviously you will be asking, syat with respect to what? They have given 7 forms of judgment. Isn't it? Syat, asti and this, all these 7. But again, these 7 relative point of views don't have any meaning until unless you talk or you synthesize these 7 point of views into some higher reality. Getting my point? It is 7 point of views which are syat, which are relative point of view. They should be logically with respect to some absolute. But this is missing in their philosophy. They emphasize a lot on the relative character of our knowledge, but they never talk about absolute. It is the absolute that gives meaning to the relative terms. Imagine a point when elephant is not there and then we are giving relative point of view. Does this have any meaning? No. And this is the biggest flaw of Jainism. Our basic concept of golden rule that day was that you have to accept ultimate reality, and that ultimate reality should be absolute, and that has to be one. But here they talk of realities. How many? Infinite realities. But these infinite realities don't have meaning until unless you reconcile them into some one reality. Isn't it? And this is where we say that Jainas have become inconsistent philosophy. Though their basic idea of relative character and Syadvad makes this philosophy Catholic and tolerant. Catholic and tolerant. That is, udar and sahansheel. Why? Because they are not denying anybody's point of view. That means all are right from their own point of view. Isn't it? All our religious, ideological, philosophical debate and conflict arises because we consider our partial knowledge as complete. But Jainas says that all are right from their own point of view. This makes Jainas philosophy as tolerant. Tolerant means सहनशील. आपकी बात सही है, आपकी भी सही है, आपकी भी सही है, आपकी सही है, सारी सही. किसी ने कहा बड़ी जोर से बारिश हो रही, तो जैनास कहेंगे कि भाई तू भी सही है तेरे पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से, पता नहीं यार तेरे हिसाब से कहा क्या बारिश हो रही. Getting my point? This is how Jainas philosophy is. Some more criticism, that is minor criticism. Biggest criticism is this one. They fail to accept any absolute reality, and they talk and emphasize a lot on the relativity. But relativity cannot be sustained in the absence of absolute. Other criticism is that out of these 7 statements, last 3 are superfluous and redundant because they are just combination of first 3 with the 4. I mean, there is no sense in talking about the 7. Whatever you wanted to say, you have already said in these 4 statements. So there is no point in taking up. Is that fine? So, this is inconsistent school. Repeatedly, every year question comes, and main intention of asking this question is to seek criticism. If you don't write criticism in this, then marks won't become. Questions will come, discuss Tyagva. Discuss the relation between Saptabhangena and Ekansva. You discuss all that and you have to tell that this school has certain issue. Is that fine? Let us take down few points, then I'll go further. Yes.
So why to have 7 judgments when when the fourth point is undescribable? Obvious stuff. So everything is in there. That is sir. Why to have 7 points of view?
Everything is in the.
In the fourth point is there.
No, everything is not there. When I am saying ki Syat asti, so it is not indescribable. I am able to describe it.
If we are not able, if we cannot describe it, then we can say that it cannot be described. That's it.
Fine, we have said in fourth step.
That's it. Enough.
But there are certain situations when I am able to describe no. I am saying no, ki pen is in the room. I am able to describe. Where is the problem in indescribability? So this is one point of view. No, that is, first 4 steps are fine. Yeah.
So the critics say that they are being inconsistent as they had not defined absolute. But can't we say that they had purposely not defined absolute because they are saying of infinite characteristics? And if they actually define absolute themselves, then they will be more inconsistent as they are right now.
Which they have done covertly here.
Yeah, but they have not defined absolutism.
But you have to. You have to.
But if they will, then whole
No,
the point
no,
of infinite characteristics
no,
will be lost.
no. That is not there because all this is applicable only to the ignorant. Are you getting? But absolute is not applicable on me. You have to define absolute, and that is, not applicable to a ordinary being. Other schools will do this, isn't it? They have to, and they know it. And since they know it, they have themselves used absolute reality. But that is bringing absolutism from the back door. Because they can't, nobody can. Forget about them. Nobody can explain anything without reference to absolute. ये तो हमारी कॉमन लाइफ में भी है. अगर कोई स्टैंडर्ड तो बेंचमार्क तो बनाना होगा ना, उसी के रेस्पेक्ट में तो हमें मूव करना है. If there is no benchmark, so then what? My knowledge is a relative. So obviously you will ask with whom? Isn't it? This world is a relative to what? Then I'll say, look, there is a transcendental world. This world is full of suffering. Obviously, with respect to whom? With respect to what? Then somebody will say, heaven. Isn't it? So relative character, fine. But relative itself presupposes absolutism. You can't have relative without absolute, which they know. But they have used in their philosophy when they talk of their own philosophy. But we are saying simple one thing, that once you have used this in a covered manner, why don't you come and say that look, this is the absolute, that's it. And you define everything with respect to that. Isn't it?
Sir, does it mean that even Tirthankaras are also not considered absolute
No, they are.
after achieving
Yes.
Kaivalya?
They have. But you are not defining. Problem is, you have to define. Look, this is the absolute. And with that respect to absolute, my knowledge and everything is relative. That's it.
So, sir, basically what they're saying is that everything which they are saying applies to people who are ordinary and ignorant. And
Yes.
one who attains Kaivalya Jnana is absolute, and then everything is relative to that.
They should have said. They said only half. They said only half. Problem is this. They should have extended that. But they are overwhelmed by the relativity character of our knowledge. And they are obsessed with that. And they are carried away with that. And failed to recognize the simple fact that reality is a system where all contradictions, pluralism, dualism get dissolved. I'll just give you one short example. Over a period of time, I think you will be understanding. This body is how many? One. Isn't it? But it consists of? No, that's fine. But it consists of many parts. And now, when all these parts are organically related, then this functions as a system. इसे organically related, isn't it? Now, just imagine a situation. If I create heart, lungs, kidneys, cell, tissues, hand, this. What is this? Is it a body? Is it a body? Are you getting? Infinite realities I created. But it has no meaning. It has no, base. ऐसे में कितनी चीजें बना दूं? N number of things. Is it body? No. And now imagine, I have synthesized them in such a way that all these things are functioning as interrelated, interlinked organic whole. Now, which is more logical according to you? Earlier or this one? Getting my point? Now, Jainas are not talking of this. Jainas are talking of infinite reality. Getting my point? Best example, though it's too early, but I think I need to tell you. We said ultimate reality is how many? One. Right? And this one ultimate reality should be like best example of consistent ultimate reality is this human body. Supreme reality should be like that. Just as my organs and cells and tissues are part and parcel of me and functioning as organically, in the same way, supreme reality should be such that of which we all are parts. This whole cosmology is that. We are all are parts of that, and it is functioning as one integrated, interrelated, organic whole. एक reality ऐसी होनी चाहिए, like human body. Are you understanding? Do we find any such reality over here? For the crude understanding, right? For the sake of understanding, I am giving these examples. Heart, kidney, lung, this. Does they have meaning? Do they have meaning? They have meaning only when they are synthesized into whole. When they are synthesized into some organic whole. Are you appreciating? Over a period of time, when as we move on, these concepts will be crystal clear and you will be appreciating. You will have visualization. What this person is saying. It's too early. And I don't expect you to grasp 100%. But I'm sure as we move on, your depth will be increasing. And you will be appreciating what these people are saying. And Jainas have been considered as inconsistent. Now I think you can have some kind of visualization. Because ये missing. Realities तो कितनी बना दी आपने? Reality is plural. Right? But this realistic pluralism has to be reconciled into वो missing है. तो आपके जितने भी relative characters हैं वो तो फिर सारे meaningless है ना. Heart different from me is senseless, no. It's meaningless. इसको कोई मतलब है. But same thing when fit into the system, then it has meaning. Getting my point? Yeah. Why subset? When we have said the other dimension is that is more appropriate. Yeah, fine. Subset is not, technically it is, for the sake of understanding, I got it. But technically, once you write subset, then Anekantvad is this and Syadvad is part of that. But we are saying Jainas philosophy is this, one dimension, one side is Anekantvad, other is Syadvad. There are two phases of coin. Now you want to say that way, the other side of the coin is included in the first side of the coin. I mean, how it is possible? It is not possible. No?
This is only one aspect of the many aspects.
Hence, yeah, what?
And the bigger one is the next.
Bigger one is this one. Bigger is this is the biggest. So this is the 1 plus. It has 2 dimensions. One side is this, other side is this. What you are saying is right. I got it. But we cannot, interpret in that. Is that fine? Now let us take down. Give a small heading, critical comments. It is criticized as self-contradictory. First point. It is criticized as self-contradictory doctrine. But it is not justifiable. But it is not justified. Second point. It is criticized as theory of probability. However, Jainas says that it is not probable, rather it is theory of relativity of knowledge. Next point. Jainas have rightly pointed out that all our knowledge is partial, relative, and conditional. Other schools have also accepted this. But other schools have made a distinction between relative and absolute. But Jainas have bluntly rejected such a distinction. They have a strong biasness against absolutism. Next point. They have forgotten that relativity cannot be sustained. Relativity cannot be sustained without the absolute. Next point. They forget their biasness. Against absolutism when they absolutely assert that their teaching alone represents the whole truth. That their teachings alone represent the whole truth. It is claimed Anekantvad is the only philosophy. But this is certainly an admission of absolutism. Certainly admission of absolutism. And half-hearted confession of absolutism. Half-hearted confession of absolutism. Next point. They have given 7 scattered forms of judgment. They have given 7 scattered forms of judgment, but fails to synthesize them. In fact, they cannot. In the absence of absolute. In the absence of absolute. Next point. They have failed to recognize the fact that reality is a system. Reality is a system where all dualism, pluralism, and contradiction are sublated or dissolved. Next point. Last 3 judgments are superfluous and redundant. Last 3 judgments are superfluous and redundant. One more point. Next point. They have earlier criticized the conception of indescribable as self-contradictory. But they themselves have used it. Right, earlier in some of the discussion they have criticized, but when they are stuck up in situation, they themselves have used, right? Now, let us take these other topics. One I have referred yesterday, concept of dravya. All the things,
Sir?
yeah.
Sir, in one point, you've just written that they claim that Anekantvad is the only philosophy, but it is certainly an admission of absolutism.
Yeah.
And sir, you also told us that because of their Dhyadvad, their school has been called as Catholic and tolerant. So how would they accept other theories if they are saying that our theory leads to the...
I mean, this is how we are pointing out, no? This is how we are pointing out that once you talk of your own philosophy, then you talk absolutely. But when you talk in general, then you go mad after hearing absolutism.
In general, they are accepting everyone's theory as relative.
Yeah.
When they are
Yes.
signifying that the path to achieve something, then they say that this is
Yeah, I mean, this is absolute assertion, right? Now, yesterday one term had come, that is dravya. It is also known as substance. It is also known as category. Dravya or substance or category. What is this? Jainas says that which is real is known as Dravya. They are which school? Realistic school. Right? And they have accepted reality as many plural, realistic pluralism. So that reality is known by which term? Dravya, no? No, reality is many. What did we discuss yesterday? We started our discussion with two lines. There are innumerable atoms and there are innumerable individual souls. Then we had also said that these are known as Dravya. Now we are taking that Dravya separately. Fine. So, they are realistic pluralism. That means reality is many. And that which is real, they call that by which name? Dravya or substance or category. Right? Okay. Now they will make a classification that how many broadly types of realities are there. How many realities are there in number? Yeah, infinite. How many atoms are there? Infinite. How many souls are there? Infinite. Now, numbers की हम बात नहीं कर रहे हैं. We are not talking of numbers. Now Jainas are saying broadly these realities are of how many types? This world is entirely, or will be all of that. That means that Dravya, they classify that which is real under two broad headings. Broadly, there are two types of reality. There are two types of reality. They say one is Jeev and other is Ajeev. Jeev and Ajeev. How many realities are there? Infinite. And how many types of realities are there in this world? Only two. The entire infinite things are reduced to only broadly two types. One is Jeev, other is Ajeev. Simple. इस पूरे कॉस्मोलॉजी में दो ही चीजें हैं. That which is real. एक है जीव, other is अजीव. Done? What is Jeev? They say that Jeev is as considered in other schools as nothing but Atma or soul, or you can also say the very essence of Jeev is nothing but consciousness. Is that fine? So, Jeev is conscious. It is, you can say, if somebody asks, what is Jeev? Then of course you can say, in Jainas philosophy, Jeev is conscious Dravya. Exact definition. This is conscious, so obviously Ajeev will be unconscious. Even otherwise, just remember one more fact, that in this world, separate from this Jainas, and I am telling you in general. In general, there are only two types of things in this world. Not even third. One is matter, that is unconscious. Another is conscious. Or in the layman language, you can say one is living, other is non-living. Is there any third entity? हो ही नहीं सकती, है ही नहीं. One is conscious, other is unconscious. One is living, other is non-living. If you make bit technical, then it will become conscious, unconscious. If you make more technical, according to Jainas, then they will say Jeev and Ajiv. Right? Jeev is soul or Atma. Right? But this Jeev, soul, requires some environment to exist. Isn't it? इसको कोई चीज चाहिए ना जहां रहे. That is defined by Ajiv. Hence, we say Ajiv is itself of different type. First type of Ajiv is Pudgal. Pudgal. What is Pudgal? Pudgal is nothing but matter. Pudgal is matter. How you define Pudgal? Pudgal is that which is subject to integration and disintegration. Or simply you can say Pudgal is nothing but matter. Is that fine? And the smallest part of matter is atoms. And how many atoms? Infinite atoms. But how many types of atoms? Types of atoms. We are made up of, in general we know, पंच तत्व. 5 elements से बने रहते हैं. वो कौन कौन से हैं? Fire, earth, fire, water, air and ether, आकाश. इन 5 में से 4 एटम है, 5वां नहीं है. That is, ether is not atom. So atoms are earth, fire, water and air. So though atoms are of infinite number, I am made up of atoms and these are of infinite. But broadly, there are only 4 types and each atom has their own specific characteristic. For example, fire has sight. That characteristic, fire has sight. So my eyes has which element? Fire. Are you getting? मेरी eyes जो है वो किस element से बनी है? Fire. Right? Similarly, earth has smell. कोई टेंशन नहीं, कोई कंसेप्ट नहीं, ये तो फैक्चुअल चीजें हैं. हर एक एटम की अपनी एक क्वालिटी. Right? So first Ajiv is Pudgal. Pudgal is nothing but. So what is this? Pudgal. And it is made up of. What is this? Atoms. Fine. But atoms are when the atoms combine. When 2 atoms combine, we have diatom. Isn't it? Triatom, tetra, penta, hexa. वही सारे बन रहे हैं यार और क्या हो रहा है? When many atoms combine, then we have aggregate, and that aggregate is known as Sanghat. Sanghat means aggregate. So this board is Sanghat of atom. My body is Sanghat of here. हाँ, अभी हम इसी पे confine होंगे. 4 atoms. Isn't it? Sanghat means aggregate. तो भाई एक तो हो गया. जीव को क्या चाहिए? That which prevails in me. What is that? This is Pudgal now. But that which prevails in me is Jeev, consciousness. But right now this Jeev is associated with Pudgal. So Jeev को कोई न कोई चाहिए. Right? This is how we had started our lecture. So first is Pudgal. Second type of Ajiv is space. जीव कहाँ? हाँ, पुद्गल कहाँ? So I'm in space. Space मतलब simple है. Space means 52 third floor, Old Rajendra Nagar, Karol Bagh, New Delhi, India, Asia, world, solar system. Space है. Don't get confused. Isn't it? If space has come, then obviously third type will come, time. So I'm in space and time. I'm in space and time means this room, this area plus time. देख लो. It's like 650 date, year, age, era, century. ये सारा टाइम हो गया. भाई जीव है, आत्मा है, तो कहीं ना कहीं तो होगा और किसी टाइम पे होगा, वो भी तो रियल हो गया. तो स्पेस इज रियल एंड टाइम इज ऑल्सो रियल. वी आर डिस्कसिंग हाउ मेनी टाइप्स ऑफ रियल. इस दुनिया में कितनी चीजें रियल हैं हम वो देख रहे हैं. बिकॉज जैनास आर विच स्कूल? रियलिस्टिक स्कूल. So they need to tell us how many different kinds of realities are there. Though they are infinite in number, but how many types? Is that correct? They say that space is itself of two types. One space is that space in which we are living right now. This is known as Lok Akash. Lokaka, the world in which we are living. Don't get confused with the Earth, Saturn, Jupiter, Mercury. World means, Lokakash means this entire cosmology. But over and above this Lokakash, there is another world. Over and above this Lokakash, this cosmology, say pare, there is one more world which is known as Alokakash. इनका कोई philosophical importance नहीं है, right? They might be having religious importance, so this is only factual thing, right? They have said it and we are understanding because repeated questions are coming. Where is the conceptual? That's yet to come. Similarly, we have time. Two types of time. One is real time, another is empirical time. No, that is over and above.
So that is not real.
Why?
Something we can't find out where it is. That is
No, but
why are we categorizing it in real time?
not we have categorized.
But
They feel like there is what they feel. They have knowledge that there is another world all over. We can't deny how you are feeling, isn't it? Somebody might have ventured there, and then he must have told you, look, bhaiya, there is another world. Right?
Sir, one general thing about Jaina philosophy.
Okay, in general.
This was preached to their followers by a Tirthankara. And the Tirthankara has by then achieved Kevalya Gyan.
Absolutely.
Which means he is knowing absolutism. He knows the absolute. And he is telling things relative to the absolute. And still they are not accepting that there is something called absolute.
This is how we have criticized. Otherwise there is no room for criticism. Your second question, same question. Right? Again and again this question will come. Ki maan to rahe, they are accepting absolutism. But you just think we have written one more line, half-hearted confession, covered confession. Why don't you come and front foot and say, look, this is absolute and we all are relative with respect to that. As other schools have done it. Abhi to pehla school hi hai na. So we have this so much. As we move on, we'll come to know it. Isn't it? So time is also of two types, that is real and empirical. Real time is infinite, eternal. That real time is that time which is always there, whether we are here or not. But समय तो चलता रहेगा ना. It is something like that. मैं समय हूँ. वो तो चल ही रहा है. लेकिन फिर बीच में हम आ गए. तो उस समय को, उस ultimate, I can't use absolute. Otherwise, it is almost that absolute time, isn't it? So it is when we all come, then we divided this time into different zones according to our convenience. And then we said 24 hours a day, 365, 1 minute 60 seconds, isn't it? And that time, this time becomes empirical. This is, we all made it. But whether we are here or not, the duration will be keep on moving now. That is real time. Fourth reality in Ajiv is dharma. Now here, another meaning is going to come of dharma. One dharma we know, religion. Another dharma we know, duties. Third meaning of dharma is duty में आ गया, righteousness, duty एक ही बोलते हैं. Third meaning of dharma is characteristic. अनंत धर्म का वस्तु, isn't it? यहाँ पर fourth meaning आ रहा है धर्म का, which is specific only to Jainas. Nowhere else we will be utilizing this. According to Jainas, dharma is condition for motion. Condition for motion. Like, for example, fish swimming in water. Fish in water. What is the condition for the movement of fish? Water. But is water the cause of fish movement? No, it is only providing condition. That's it. Isn't it? This is dharma. If dharma is there, then we have fifth category, fifth dravya, that is adharma. And adharma will be? Yes, बिल्कुल ठीक है, absolutely fine. Condition for rest. Suppose some traveler is there, while traveling, he tired, he saw one tree, big shade, he went there and took rest under the shade of tree. So what is adharma? Taking rest? Huh? What is adharma? Not tree, shade of tree. But shade of tree is not arresting the motion of traveler, but it is only providing a condition for the rest. Is that fine? Same way, water is not the cause of fish movement, but it is providing a conducive environment in which fish can swim. So water is dharma here, and their shade of the tree is adharma. It is providing a condition for the rest. Is that fine? Hence, now Jainas says that this world, this cosmology is all about these six categories. Jeev and plus 5 days. Ajeev. All this, whatever we see, whatever we feel, whatever we do, whatever we come across, is made up of only 6 things. There is not even 7th, according to Jaina. Is that fine? Is world mein, in this cosmology, there are only how many realities? 6 types of realities, that's it. We all are made up of, everything is made up of, everything comes out of only these 6 things. And this is where they have given theory of their reality, which they define dravya. Is that correct? Repeated question comes. You might find it here, it's very factual and everybody would be writing. But many such things will come. So our challenge is to recall at right time, at right place, in a right quantity. Fine. Dravya, Jaina says, now conceptual building, where we will be utilizing our concept. Books में तो यही लिखा हुआ है. Now we will be saying that this dravya has how many characteristics? Infinite characteristics. This philosophy is known as Anekantvad. However, we can know only few from particular point of view. This philosophy is known as Syad. applied that concept. Only 3 lines has to be written, but that 3 lines will do magic. If you don't write those 3 lines, then you are in the crowd. Everybody would be scoring, 4, 4.5 out of 10. But winner will be that who will be scoring 5.5. Earlier also I told you. That 1 mark, 1.5 mark difference comes because of these things. So you have shown the application of Jainas philosophy to the Dravya. Isn't it? This is how we started. There are infinite, innumerable material atoms and innumerable individual souls. Each of them is separately and individually real, and each of them is having infinite characters. वही तो चीज हम बोल रहे हैं. Dravya, as it is said, it has infinite characters, and these characters are broadly divided into 2 types. These are gunas and modes, that is paryaya. You can say attributes and modes. Gunas have been permanent, unchanging and essential. However, paryaya have been impermanent, changing and non-essential. True? When we see this world from Guna's point of view, when we see this world from attribute point of view, then I say that this world is permanent, unchanging, essential, no change at all. But same world when I see from the mode's point of view, then I say that this world is continuously changing, it's impermanent, it's momentary. It's only matter of point of view. However, we will see that when Buddha comes, then he says, he gives one theory of momentariness. Though we have not read, but at least we know this. Isn't it? Buddha believes in Kshanikva. Right? And Buddha says, look, this world is momentary. Kshanikva, a thing exists for a moment. Everything is kshanik. Correct? Jainas are saying that Mr. Buddha, you are seeing only from your point of view. You are not seeing from another point of view. Right? I say that Buddhism says that emphasizes which aspect of this world? Changing. That is Kshanikva, momentariness. Isn't it? On the other hand, we will see that early Brahmanism, or you can say, we will read later on, Vedanta, they emphasize on the unchanging character of the world. You must have heard one phrase, Brahm Satyam Jagat Mithya. Have you heard? It means Brahm is the only ultimate reality, and this Jagat means this world is Mithya. Mithya means illusion. Right? So that person or that school or that group of thinkers are saying Brahm Satyam, Brahm is eternal, immortal, indestructible, imperishable. Jagat, illusion. But Brahm is supreme reality. Jagat, illusion, Mithya. On the other hand, Buddha says, this world is momentary. Yeah, there is ultimate reality. Fine, but this world is momentary. Getting my point? So in early Brahmanism, they emphasize on the eternalism. Eternalism means, Nitya. Nitya means immortal, indestructible. That which is beyond birth and डेथ, जिसका ना कभी जन्म हुआ ना डेथ है, beyond production and destruction, that thing is considered as eternal. But Jainas say that you people are focusing on only from your point of view, that is Guna's point of view. So Buddha keeps on shouting, Kshanik, 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 Kshanik. And Jainas says that your point of emphasis is only one-sided. You are not trying to see other side. Hence, you commit what? Fallacy. Which fallacy? Durniti type. And hence, here it is said that these people have committed Kshanik Ekantvad. When you assert only one view, then that is known as Ekantvad. Is that clear? However, on the other hand, this group of people, Vedanta, is focusing Brahm Satyam, Brahm Satyam, Brahm Satyam. So they commit which fallacy? Brahm Ekantvad. Perfect. Brahm Ekantvad. Are you understanding the debate? Though this is our first school and I have to refer so many other schools, but we have, for the time being, we have to grasp. Later on, all these things will become very clear. But at least we can grasp this much. So, Buddhism focuses on only one aspect on this world, that is Kshanik. Since you are focusing only on one aspect, you commit a fallacy of something related to Durniti. That one-sided assertion is known as Ekantvad. And hence you commit Kshanik Ekantvad. On the other hand, early Brahmanism had committed Brahm Ekantvad. You people focus only on Brahm, overemphasize only on one aspect. But Jainas believe in Anekantvad. Wonderful. Jainas believe in Anekantvad. And this is where Jainas establishes a theological mean. Theological mean between early Brahmanism and Buddhism. Don't confuse by the theological. They have just taken main emphasis is mean between these two extremes. One is Brahm Ekantvad, other is Kshanik Ekantvad. But Jainas believe in that both are right. Both are right from their own point of view. Mr. Buddha, you are seeing this world from More's point of view. And that person is seeing this world, same world, from the Guna's point of view. But both of you are right. But you mistake your view as complete. Hence you had committed fallacy of Ekantvad. Actual reality is Anekantvad.
So basically both are right and at the same time wrong. Both of them are right and also wrong.
No, we can't say not wrong. Partial is better. Partial is
Both
better.
are right and there are more people who are right. That is what it is.
You have more people.
Jainas say that both of you are right, Brahmins and Buddhism, but there are more people who are right. Anekantvad. You are right in your own point of view, but there are more people, or there might be more theories which would be right.
There is another point of view.
Yes.
Not more people. There is another point of view which you people are not aware. Syadvad and Anekantvad. This is how they are trying to emphasize on that. Isn't it? So if question comes on Dravya, 10 marker, 15 marker, 20 marker. This year it was there. Right? Very first question in Indian philosophy was 10 marker, Dravya of Jainism, I think. Yeah? The Dravya in Jainism or of Jainism, something like that had come. Direct question had come. Time is very less. Pressure is very high. And you have to cover all the dimensions. So, what we have said, what is Dravya? types of dravya, then brief explanation of that, then application of Syadvad and Anekantvad to dravya, and then we have also shown that how Jainas Anekantvad established a theological mean between Buddhism and early Brahmanism.
Sir, just to bring this theological meaning, Jainism didn't accept the ultimate reality to give a foundation for all other schools.
कहाँ दिया ultimate reality? तो mean medium बता
Because of that, they didn't accept that. Because of this.
Probably. It might.
So, but according to Jainism, this is not partial because they are sure about their own views. So this has to be duality.
Who?
But you said
Jaina?
no. According to Jainas, both the views are
One-sided.
not partial, but they are because both of them are sure about their views.
Yes, one-sided.
That is duality there.
Yeah.
It's not nahe.
No. Now, if there would have been nahi, so then there would have been no problem.
So therefore, it is not partial then. They are right and wrong at the same time. So it cannot be partial.
Which one?
So their views cannot be partial. Because both of them are duality.
No.
It is not nahe.
Okay, in that way. But in this, I think you have not noticed what did I say. I said so many things into that. Again, try to catch. Buddha says that this world is kshanik, and momentary. Everything exists for a moment. Kshanik. Fine. Ultimate reality is there, but this world is kshanik. Now Vedanta says, try to notice them also. Brahm is the supreme reality. Right? Brahm Satyam. Brahm is indestructible, imperishable, eternal, supreme reality. Fine, the Jagat, illusion. But Brahm is supreme reality. Have you noticed? Is there any difference between these two? Buddhism and the... Is there any difference? Great. Very good. There is no difference. Difference lies only in emphasize. Very good. My attempt is successful. Difference lies only in emphasis. Buddha is emphasizing on. He accepts. But he says, fine, okay. But this world is. On the other hand, we will see all these things in detail, right? Like Shankaracharya, let us be very specific. Shankaracharya says, Brahm is the ultimate reality. Real. Jagat, this world, fine, hey, but this is illusion. But supreme reality to yehi hai. Are you getting it? Difference lies only in point of emphasis. So what you are saying, partially wrong, partially right, kahan nahi hai. Isn't it? Accept kar to rahe. लेकिन Jainas कह रहे हैं कि you are over-emphasizing on that. Your view is one-sided, and this is where it is. Right? Yeah.
If we collectively take Buddha, can we say that Buddha is also relative?
We will see Buddha. I have to discuss Buddha only this, right? Because Buddha is separate school, so we will be unnecessarily inviting trouble, right? We will just confine ourselves to this here only. This dravya. Is that clear? Don't forget all these things. What are the dimensions? We will take up questions. Again, we will discuss all these things. Now, in this dravya, we have discussed ajiva. Fine? Thoroughly we have discussed. We have applied Syadvad Anekantvad. That part is also over. And we have made a comparative study between Buddhism, Brahmanism, that is Vedanta, and Jainism. This is another dimension. But one thing we did not discuss, that is here, Jeev. Jeev we will discuss separately. Because our main objective is moksha from bondage. And who is in bondage? Jeev. So hero of this story is. Now we are in position to reach to the hero, main character. So we will treat him separately, with due respect. Isn't it? अब देखेंगे जीव क्या है, कैसे आया bondage में, what happened in bondage, what is liberation, and how you will be getting liberation, and what happens after liberation. Now we will see comprehensively. We can appreciate now only if we have understood that there is a need for this jiva to seek liberation. Why? Because it is in bondage. Why? Afflicted with ignorance. So what happened? I have only, my knowledge is partial, and you will get liberation by removing root cause of bondage. And what is the root cause of bondage? And ignorance will be removed by right knowledge. But I have सारा झगड़ा यहाँ. तो पहले उसको समझना होगा कि मेरी पार्शियल नॉलेज कैसे है, क्यों है. Then only I'll make an attempt to remove that. Is that clear? Right. This is very factual part. I hope you can see from the printed material. Right? I think 2 pages are there. You just see that. Now I'll come to G. We have one more classification of G. I'll take up that later on. Once again, I'll make this chart. First classification we made, that is Jeev and Ajeev. And another classification is there. However, number of categories, number of dravya, substance would be same. Number यही रहेगा. Jeev, Pudgal, space, time, dharm and adharm. But these 6 categories would be classified on the basis of some different parameters. अभी आप बोल सकते हैं broadly that this classification is based on consciousness. One is conscious, other is unconscious. Jeev and Ajeev. One more classification is yet to come. Done? Now let us come to Jeev. Now, what is Jeev? Now you tell me. It is nothing but Atma or soul or self as understood in other school of philosophy. But in Jainas, that Atma is referred as Jeev. Give me some more definition of Jeev. Very good. That is, Jeev is nothing but conscious dravya. Good. Right? Now, the very essence of Jeev is consciousness. Consciousness is regarded as the very essence of Jeev. It is the very essence. Consciousness is not the property of Jeev. Consciousness is not the attribute of Jeev. Consciousness is not something that exists in Jeev. Consciousness is not something that exists in Jeev. If it is existing in Jeev, then we can separate it. But this Jeev is itself consciousness. Try to understand that. The very essence of Jeev is consciousness. ये खुद ही consciousness है. Consciousness is not part, because part can be separable. It is not something that in which consciousness is existing. In that condition, we will have 2 things, Jeev and consciousness, but that is separable. At least in our thought we can separate. But this Jeev is itself consciousness. Is that fine? There are how many jivas? Infinite jiva. Infinite in number. Infinite jiva. All these jivas, infinite jivas, are qualitatively alike. Qualitatively alike. But quantitatively they differ. Qualitatively they are alike. That means all jivas are conscious. All jivas are conscious. However, they differ quantitatively. Quantitative means magnitude. That means they differ in the degree of consciousness. All jivas are conscious. What degree of consciousness will vary. Some have high degree consciousness, some have low, some have very low. Depending upon the ignorance. Your knowledge, you can say that. Depending upon the level of ignorance. All jivas are conscious. Getting? Just tell me, a hardcore Jaina, will he hit this table?
No.
Will he, kick it?
No.
Why?
There is some conscious.
It may be jeev hai, something like that. It may be jeev hai. It has also has jeev. And hence we have seen that Jainas do not practice even agriculture. They put that white clothes because they believe in so much of non-violence. Because all these also have something like that consciousness, jeev. But its degree of consciousness and my degree of consciousness as compared to this is, it has lowest. So, see, broadly, for the sake of understanding, right? Stones, plants, higher animals, then higher human beings. Even in human beings, some have high degree of consciousness depending upon their lower level of ignorance. जिसकी ignorance कम, उसकी consciousness ज़्यादा. Simple काम.
But this table is not Udgal matter.
So I should be jeev.
No, table can just catch the concept. Isn't it? Just try to catch concept. क्या बोल रहे हैं आप? This table is
Not matter.
matter क्यों नहीं है? Matter is.
It's non-living, it's a jeev.
अब ये क्या पता है कि इसमें जीव है कि नहीं? हाँ? I have answered.
The difference is living and non-living. Living is a jeev, non-living.
How do you know that it is non-living? It does not have jeev. I just asked you. I simple asked one question. Will a hardcore Jaina kick it? लात मारेगा? आपने कहा, सबने कहा unanimously नहीं. Then I asked why. Then you only said something. What you said? कि इसमें भी जीव है. आपने तो कहा है. Isn't it? No? Why? ये उनका व्यू है ना.
They don't do agriculture or they put a white cloth in front of their mouth because they think microorganisms can be killed.
Fine. I agree that. I'm not saying that this table has, just see, concept. The souls are, many.
See, like microorganisms may have less degree of.
Yeah, okay, fine. You take micro.
But non-living things have no degree of consciousness.
ठीक है. पुद्गल जो हार्डकोर पुद्गल है वो तो कॉन्शियस अनकॉन्शियस. बिल्कुल ठीक है. I agree with that. No issue. No problem. Let us take that.
This classification, so as far as Jainas goes, this classification is for living, non-living, everything.
No. There are certain things which have different senses. One sense, two sense, three sense.
There is hierarchy of senses, but everything can qualify for jiva and non-jiva. Because,
Okay, I mean that is not a big concept, right? I just wanted to emphasize what does it mean. Qualitatively alike means all jiva, whether this is in plant, whether this is in insect, whether this is in human being, ऐसे ले लेते हैं, isn't it? Whether this is in virus, bacteria, जो भी जैसे भी हैं, bird, सब में conscious है, but degree of consciousness vary. So qualitatively all jivas are alike, but quantitatively they differ. We will see in Western philosophy that we will read one concept as monad given by Leibniz. I hope you can recall his name, Leibniz. Which philosopher? rationalist, mathematician. He will talk of his philosophy, and in his philosophical system, he will talk of monads. We will see that monad is same as Jainas Jeev. There also we will be using monads are qualitatively alike but quantitatively differ, and there we will compare monad with the Jainas Jeev. Don't forget that once we will take up Leibniz, then you have to recall that it can be compared with the Jainas Jiva. Moreover, in Indian philosophy also, as we move further, we will come across with a school who accepts Purusha as given by Sankhyan philosophy. Purush, that is Sankhya. Means Sankhyan school, they'll come and they will discuss something like Purush. That Purush is nothing but Jainas Jeev or monads of Leibniz. One more thing, self or Atma according to Ramananda. Is that clear? Whenever ये चार चीजें आएंगी, कोई सा भी आएगा, ये सारे इकट्ठे आएंगे, that so that we can make a comparative study. And I told you, comparative study is the biggest weapon. Don't miss them. Use these comparative studies, that too, between Indian and Western at appropriate place. That reflects your conceptual clarity and command over the subject. So, jivas, infinite, but all these jivas are qualitatively alike but quantitatively differ. Broadly, these jivas are of two types. One is mukta, that is liberated. Liberated souls. And other type is bound, those which are in bondage. As we are, these bonded souls are also of two types. One is mobile, which can move. These are known as tra, like us, like animals. And other is immobile, that is, which cannot move. They are known as sthavar. Jivas are of two types. One is liberated, those who have got kevalya, moksha. Another is like us, in bondage. In bonded souls are also of two types. One is which can move, that is mobile, like us, tras. Another is immobile, that cannot move, that is sthavar. This jeev, its inherent nature is, its true nature is pure, complete, perfect. In its true nature, it enjoys fourfold excellences. Fourfold excellences. These are known as Ananta Chatushthay. Ananta Chatushthay. Ananta Chatushthay. That is, in its true nature, in its original state, these jivas have infinite power, infinite knowledge, infinite bliss, and infinite faith. These Ananta Chatushthay are four in number, and these four are only this. That is infinite power, infinite faith, infinite knowledge, and infinite bliss. Bliss, you understand? Transcendental happiness. In liberated state. It enjoys Ananta Chatushthay. But in bondage, either these Ananta Chatushthay are absent or vaguely present. Are you getting? In bondage state, these Ananta Chatushtay are either absent or vaguely present. Originally, I have which knowledge? Infinite. But right now, I am afflicted with ignorance. Right? So, Ananta Chatushtay. This Jeev is occupies space. It occupies extension. It has extension. Just as this board is extended from this to that. But this is not extended as matter. It is extended like light. Just as this light falls in this room and it takes the shape of this room. If there is some space over here, so light goes there also and it takes the shape. If there is a hole here, then light goes there and it takes the shape. It assumes the shape of this room, and now this light is extended from that part to that part. But it is extended not like a matter. It is because of this many lights can coexist without coming into conflict with each other. This light is also existing and this light is also existing. Is there any conflict? I am not talking of tube light. I am talking of light. Are there any conflict? No. In the same way, many jivas can coexist without coming into conflict with each other. One thing. Second thing, just as this light falls in this room and assumes the shape of this room, in the same way, whichever body it illuminates, it will take the shape of that body. So my jeev is like, jeev of elephant is like elephant. It is, jeev is coextensive with body. It is coextensive with body. Getting my point? It is assumes the shape of my body. It is because of this I find sensation here, I find sensation here, and I find sensation to the tip of my toe also. Because it has illuminated my entire system. It has taken the shape. Jeev of this pen is like pen only. Jeev of ant is like ant only. Getting my point? अगर ये रूम छोटा होता तो वो शेप ले लेता. ये रूम इसका डबल होता तो it would have taken shape of that. So jeev is like life, and hence how many jivas can present in this room? Infinite. But how many matter can be present in this room? Finite. How many chairs I can put in this room? 100, 200, 500, 1000, 5000. ऊपर तक भर दिए. After that, no. Because matter come into conflict with each other. But jivas do not. Hence, infinite jivas can coexist within in this room. True?
Jiva is confined within a body.
Just hold on. Keep on following. Everything will be clear. I'll take some 15-20 minutes extra today. Because continuity I don't want to break. This is moving in continuity, and if I take break, then that will create problem for you. So we are in that momentum, so let us have 15-20 minutes more. Everything would be clear. So this is Jeev. Ananta Chatushtay, qualitatively alike, quantitatively differ. Made a comparison with the Western philosophy. It is like light. It occupies the space. It is extended. But it is extended like only light, not like matter. Jeev is conscious, Dravya. The very essence of Jeev is conscious. Ananta Chatushtay, infinite faith, infinite knowledge, infinite power, and infinite bliss. Original status में हम सब ये. But एफर्ट लगना जरूरी है. But we don't know when, how, where, who. This jeev came under the influence of ignorance. This jeev came under the influence of ignorance. Just hold on. This has come under the influence of ignorance. Which ignorance? Beginningless ignorance. Moment this jeev got afflicted with ignorance, it lost faith. It lost faith in Tirthankara. It lost faith in Tirthankara. जैसे ही इसमें ignorance आई, moment it got afflicted with ignorance, straight away it went to Tirthankara and said, बहुत हो गया यार, अब नहीं मानो, अब मैं अपनी मर्जी से काम करूँ. It lost faith in Tirthankara. And moment you lose faith in Tirthankara, you become vulnerable. You become vulnerable to passion. You become vulnerable to passion. अब अनंत चतुष्टय में से दो चीजें गई. क्या क्या गया? Afflicted with ignorance. और क्या चला गया? Faith has also gone. And now this jeev has become vulnerable to passion. These passions are known as kasai. These passions are known as kasai, and they are four in number. They are anger, greed, pride, and delusion. They become vulnerable to passions, and these passions are known as kasai. And these kasai are how many numbers? Four. Anger, greed, pride and delusion. मतलब अब इसको गुस्सा आएगा, greed आ गया, desire आ गया, pride आ गया. Pride means anger. It's me, mine, मैं कर रहा हूँ. That मैं comes anger. Got it? This kasai, the jeev has become vulnerable to kasai, and this kasai, which is passion, is a sticky substance. ये चिपचिपे होते हैं. They are like oily. Don't think यार कहाँ से ढूंढ के ला रहे हैं. Isn't it? मतलब ये भी पता लगे कि कसा जो एंगर वो चिपचिपा होता है. Amazing. Their flight of thought. अभी ये full swing में है. Isn't it? So now they are vulnerable to passion. Kasai. Kasais are sticky substance. They are like oily. चिपचिपे. So this jeev became vulnerable to kasai. Kasai आ गए, इसमें passions आ गए, and kasais are sticky substance, oily. It is just like that jeev has been massaged with oil. Massage हो गया उसका oil का. Now you tell me, when my body is massaged with oil, it's very easy for dust particle to stick it. If it is not massaged with oil, then dust particle don't stick. Even if they come, then I just do, I'm clean. It is, you can imagine that this glass have oil, and now dust particle stick. Isn't it? This oily surface of this glass will attract now what? Dust particle. In the same way, jeev, something like massage with oil, will attract karmic particles. And what are those karmic particles? Karmic particles are nothing that once jeev has become vulnerable to passion, kasaya, motivated by these four kasaya, now this jeev will perform Action. And action will lead to fruits. And now fruits will come to accumulation. And who is attracting these fruits? कसा, जीव नहीं. जीव के अंदर क्या है? मसाज क्या हो गए? That kasa is attracting the flow of karmic particles. And this is where it attracts the flow of karmic particles. And this flow of karmic particles is known as ashram. It's a very factual topic. And if it comes in exam, I tell you, you can score very high marks. This is how, because of such questions only, my average would be better. Your paper is designed scientifically. Some factual part, some conceptual, some too analytical. It is your choice which matters equal. What you choose, which question you choose in the exam, that is equally important. On one hand, your hard work, revision, writing practice, test, and on other hand, the choice which you make in examination hall is equally important. Anyway, so this kasa attracts the flow of karmic particles. Particles are matter, isn't it? And matter is known as, by which name? Pudgal. Hence, this is known as karma or karmic pudgal or karma pudgal. Karma pudgal. What is karma pudgal? You can say only these are nothing but the action leading to fruits. These fruits are nothing but karmic particles or karma pudgal. अभी सारा समझ में आ जाएगा, don't worry. It is just like moment body is massaged with oil, dust particles become ready कि हाँ हमको मिल गया जगह चिपकने का, isn't it? Here you can understand, moment I have some thoughts motivated by कथा, या इसको इस तरीके से ले ले सरल भाषा में, जैसे ही बुरा विचार आया एक तरीके से अपने एक्शन वो कर दिया, तो वो फ्रूट उसने चलना शुरू करा, और जब वो एक्शन मैंने कर दिया तो वो फ्रूट पूरा बन गया एंड इट स्टिक्ड. Getting analogy is when body is massaged with oil, dust particles ने चलना शुरू कर दिया. Moment I have thought motivated by kasa, fruits have started becoming, have started moving towards jeev, and when I do it, then they actually stick to it. True. And this is where these karmic pudgal which are flowing towards jeev, attracted by kasa, and these karmic particles stick to jeev. Just as dust particles have sticked to that clean glass surface, now in this jeev, this is how we have. And these karma pudgal now put hindrances for jeev in attaining complete knowledge. And now all his knowledge is partial tyagva. Is that clear? So now it is in proper bondage. Now this jeev is in bondage, and these karmic particles